Are PlayStation 4 games coming to PC a problem?
We'll find out.
Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Party Plays. Of Triangle Sword.
Lucky number 17. Brett is heavily medicated, but he's pulling through.
I'm not medicated. I'm just sick. I'm one of those weird people who doesn't take any kind of medicine because for some reason I think that that's the better way to handle it.
Maybe so.
Who knows? I don't know. I also just don't ever have medicine at my house, so it doesn't change anything. I'm too lazy to go out and get medicine, so that becomes an issue.
Yeah.
But hey, welcome to Triangle Squared. We are a PlayStation podcast. We post every Monday at 12 p.m. Central Time and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You like how smooth that was? I've been messing it up lately.
It was real smooth.
We also post to podcast services such as SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, some other ones like Podbean or something like that.
And more.
And more.
They all kind of cross-post, so it's kind of hard to keep track of the little ones.
Exactly. If this is your first time joining us, we go through a couple of different topics and then end up having a main topic of the show that we end up kind of spilling on for a little while. If you like what you hear, let us know in the comments or give us a review. It really helps us, definitely helps get our numbers up there so more people can find us. We've been doing fantastic lately, though. I don't know if you saw.
On SoundHound.
But SoundCloud. But
SoundCloud.
The last episode broke 100 views by Wednesday morning, so
yeah,
in basically 2 days.
We love you guys. Y'all come check out our beautiful faces on YouTube though. Sometimes help us
if you
boost
want
morale
to.
a little bit.
You do what works for
you'll
you.
You'll miss our beautiful faces. You
and me touching Saul's earlobe.
I need to no. You can no, just no.
Okay.
Not my earlobes.
All right. Well, I guess Saul. How big is the drop?
It's fairly small.
Fairly small.
Well, hold on. Before we get into this, I want to go into what you've been playing because there's only been one thing I've actually been playing, and that's some Destiny 2 beta impressions.
Okay, yeah,
that may last a while.
You go ahead and go into your little impressions.
Okay,
I want to know what they are because I haven't touched it at all, and I am interested in the game. We've talked about that. I have my problems with the game, but right. I'm going to pick it up when it comes out, regardless.
So I loved it. Big shocker there as a huge Destiny fan. I think, and I've been kind of browsing through the Destiny subreddit and other places to check out, YouTube comments on Destiny player videos and stuff to kind of get a general reception of the beta and see how everybody else is enjoying it. And I've been having a blast. The story mission is the best story mission ever in a Destiny game,
which is good because they were talking about that on the article I was reading. I think I shared it on Twitter.
Yeah,
that's cool because I think we've talked about it plenty of times. The weakest part of the entire first game was the way they handled story.
Right, and see, I can picture if every story mission is like this, and there is 8 of them. So, I mean, well worth the $60.
Are we safe to say fleshed out? I mean, is that a good way to describe it?
I'm not going to,
because the first game was shallow, and you never really understood what they were trying to talk about in the story, and that's where the issues became because they kept thinking, oh, they'll know what this stuff is because they'll go back and read these grimoire cards.
Right, and that's the thing that they've gotten rid of in Destiny 2. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to say a couple kind of here's and there's of little droplets of info that it's kind of ambiguous, but there are characters in the beta story that this is the first story mission from the full game. I'm assuming it's the full mission. It starts out how you would think and it ends how you would think. If you've seen promotional trailers, it's clippets of that as cutscenes in it. There are characters and this is the coolest thing. You see these NPCs in Destiny 1. You get to fight alongside them in Destiny 2. You get to see them out in the battle. You get to see why they're so important to the Destiny story.
So you're saying like you get to fight alongside Zavala and
not Zavala, but there are 2 that you get to see in action, and then there is one that you actually stay with for a good, I'd say, 10 minutes or so.
You stay with Cade for a little while?
No, I wish you did. That's my favorite character.
But, I figure they're still going to let those people be like the most important ones. But I mean, it did look like they were bringing in and I don't know her name, but the woman who like kind of runs the garage and stuff.
Amanda, she's in the cutscenes as well. And it plays.
I mean, if nothing else, it's cool just seeing everybody have a bigger role.
Right? Yeah, they're not just kind of NPCs you go get ships from or go get quests from. They're actually there, and you can actually see what how important they are, and you can you feel more kind of in tune with them as a character instead of just kind of a mission go-getter. But it's great. I have one complaint, that it seems to be a pretty centralized complaint across the board is that cooldowns are real slow. So to get your super, in the story mission, I got to use my super twice.
Okay.
So I could use my grenade like every 4 minutes. It's really slow, and they did that for PvP because, and in my opinion, in PvP, it's a lot better this way.
Okay, so
they didn't really balance it out between PvE, which Bungie did say that there is gear, and I've seen what I think is a picture. It could be fake, but it's a picture of a helmet, and it's cooldowns are like 10% faster. So you actually get gear this time that can kind of do that. And
I wonder how that's going to work with balancing, though, and if those are only going to be limited to PvE.
Well, there were gear.
Because that makes sense for PvE. For PvP, that starts to get a luck of the draw.
Well, and see, in PvE...
And I mean, I don't care about PvP in that specifically, but I'm thinking about things that people are going to have problems with.
And see, in PvE, even in Destiny 1, there is gear that lets you do this. Now, granted, what I saw was legendary, and what these were exotics in Destiny 1, like the Obsidian Mine for Warlocks and stuff. But now, that could be your abilities not including super. It could be including super. We're not too sure yet. But I will say that the PvP being 4v4 and a little bit slower is the best. It is so much better than Destiny 1. And you know, I probably played 70% Destiny 1 PvE and then about 30% PvP. Okay. When Iron Banner was out, I'd play Iron Banner. When me, Gavin, Joe, and you sometimes when we were playing and we were done with strikes for the night, or you know, we couldn't find a raid, we'd we'd hop on to PvP. This was fantastic. It felt like Halo 3. It felt everything's more weighty in this game.
Oh, you know, I don't like Halo 3, so that doesn't make me happy.
Well, yeah, but everything's kind of more weighty, so you can't just have people constantly jumping around in and out of sight. There are like hunter abilities that allow dodges and stuff, which is cool. But the new class changes for the existing classes, like Voidwalker for Warlock, is amazing. They did some really, really cool stuff, like being able to overcharge your grenades. Basically, I'm gonna keep on gushing, so I gotta stop. It's great. I cannot wait for the full release. I limit myself on the on the beta.
September
6th now. I think it was the 9th. And then now it's the 6th, which is the Wednesday.
Okay.
I think is the date. I know it's the Wednesday because...
Wait, they're releasing on a Wednesday?
I believe so, yeah. Because I took my vacation to have that Friday and then the whole week after off to play Destiny, and then they ended up releasing it 2 days prior to my vacation. They moved the date up, which is weird.
Okay.
But I do love it. I do think that as long as they fix a couple things here and there are a couple glitches that I never saw personally that where you would join a strike and then you'd lag so bad that you'd lag out, or that somehow they got an 8-man strike, which is unheard of. So I thought that was kind of weird. People were kind of speculating that maybe they accidentally unlocked something that we don't know about yet. I don't know. That could be something that I'm not too sure of. It doesn't sound plausible, but hey, it very well could be.
So you're excited.
I'm super excited.
Too long didn't read.
I'm super pumped up for it. And if you guys are interested in playing Destiny 2 with me, we always have our PSN links in the description.
To be fair, yeah, you will definitely start seeing me have more of an online gaming presence when Destiny 2 comes out.
Right.
Or, I mean, because I like the first game. We've talked about that plenty of times. It had its problems, but I think it was a good game. Well, in a much different fashion, I've been playing a lot. So, you know, we talked about Kingdom Hearts and how I was playing Kingdom Hearts. I've still been bouncing between it and Crash Bandicoot 2. So I've beat Crash Bandicoot 2, and I've got probably about half of the time trials completed, and I've got probably about 3/4 of the gems completed. And I've only got 2 other trophies that are related to finding secret entrances to other levels. There are actually 2 levels that you can only find by getting to a secret entrance within another level. So I have those trophies, but I'm kind of on the road to platinum. I'm going slower on this one than I was on the original Crash. Also, just because I really got into Kingdom Hearts. Playing on Proud Mode, like I said, for Kingdom Hearts. So I'm actually in Atlantis right now. And I'm kind of grinding because, you know, when you have to fight the gigantic version of Ursula, whenever you fight her in her den with Flotsam and Jetsam, and then she leaves and you go out and it's like a big area where like you're not flying, you're swimming, but it's like there's nothing else around you and you're just around her, and it's pretty hard on Proud Mode. And I was kind of skipping through and not grinding enough on some of the other worlds because the enemies are... It's like you can guess, you know, their patterns enough and what they can do that I was able to work around it. But her as a boss, she's just I probably could still do it, but I'm wanting to make it easier on myself and then make the future stuff a little easier on myself by grinding.
It's funny that we both dropped games from our childhood to play other games from our childhood. Like we both were playing Crash, and then we kind of went off. I went off to Final Fantasy 12, and then you went back off to Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
which is interesting to think about in this day and age.
To be fair, I love Kingdom Hearts and play it all the time, so definitely the first.
Well, yeah,
one.
that's what I'm saying.
That ends up
We went from
pulling to me.
games. We went from games we loved to our childhood to other games we loved in our childhood.
Yeah, and the only other thing I've been playing, because I've actually had a little bit of, I haven't had as much of a chance to play. There's been a lot of personal stuff going on that I'm ready to get past. Family personal stuff. It actually has nothing to do with me particularly, but I end up having to go and do stuff as a
kind of
result.
deal with everything.
But I have been. I actually re-downloaded because I never got too terribly far in it a couple years back, and then I got pulled off of it. I re-downloaded Disgaea 3 for Vita.
Oh yeah,
and I have been rolling through Disgaea 3 on Vita, and that game is just.
Last Disgaea game I played was on PSP. I really need to pick up the new ones.
Oh wow!
Real
so you
bad.
didn't play 3 or 4? 3 was on PS3 originally, and 4 was on PS3 originally.
I can't remember.
They brought 3 and 4 to Vita. 5 was PS4, and I didn't play 5 at all. I haven't played it. 4 I never beat. 3 I've played probably about the same amount as I did at 3, but I've played. 4, but I've played 3 multiple times. Now this is my third time playing the game to some extent. But the game's great. I just always end up getting pulled off of it for some reason. But it's a good time to play it right now, and those kind of strategy games are fun to play when you're just sitting there like the last hour or two before bed, and they've got such like weird, wacky stories.
I love the humor in those games.
Yeah,
what's the penguin's name?
Oh yeah, the Printies.
Yeah, there we go.
They always those games are ridiculous, and I love that they break the fourth wall all the time. So that's all I've been playing. But
I had to look it up. It's
Hour of Darkness.
Yeah,
it's the
and
remake of the first one, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that until now. Actually, that's interesting.
Yep.
Very cool.
I've never played this guy too. It was on PSP as well, I think.
Well, judging by like the news here, do you want me to go ahead and do the drop? It's actually kind of a long drop, but
yeah,
since
go ahead and roll through the drop.
We're fairly quick now since we don't do descriptions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you do me a favor, quick? Check on the calendar. What is 7/28? I think that's a Friday, but I could be wrong.
I think 7/28 Friday.
Okay, cool deal. I gotta get back up here at the top now. So as we always do, the drop. We have A Healer Only Lives Twice, a PS4 digital title. We have Active Soccer 2 DX, a PS4 and PS Vita digital cross-buy title. We have Avon Colony, a PS4 digital title, or Avon Colony. We have Circuit Breakers, a PS4 digital. We have Caller and Malice, or Caller X Malice, Caller versus Malice. You can always read these titles.
Those X ones, you never know. Or Caller Cross Malice.
Yeah.
Because people use that for the X's. Yeah.
It's a PS Vita digital title out the 28th. We did say 28th was Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember if I said 28th or 27th.
I want to look into that game because the art style looks cool.
Or Caller and Malice.
Caller and Malice.
Okay, I couldn't tell if you were looking at the one coming up. Constructor is a PS4 digital title out Friday as well. We have Fortnite, a PS4 digital and retail title. We have Hero of the Seven Seas, a PSVR title, which actually looks really interesting by the art. Kind of getting some One Piece vibes off that character, but nothing else really. Infinite Mini Golf, a PSVR title. It's Spring Again, a PS Vita digital title out Friday. Love the art style for that game already. Leaving Lindo, PS4 digital out Friday. Interesting looking game. We have Lost Grimoires, Stolen Kingdom, PS4 digital. Somebody needs to tell that Fable had their art stolen. Polera, a PS Vita digital title. Pressure Overdrive, a PS4 digital. We have Pyre, a PS4 digital. I love the art style for that.
And that's Supergiant Games.
Is it?
These are the people that did Bastion and
Transistor. Yeah. I love Transistor. Didn't get much into Bastion like I wanted to. Rugby League Live 4, PS4 digital out Friday. Smashbox Arena, another PSVR title. These are all the PSVR titles are
Smashbox Arena. It's you have VR sex in an arena.
Oh, I thought I said it wrong or something. I was like, what?
To death.
We have Sundered, a PS4 digital out Friday. This
game
looks familiar.
Looks dope. It's a Metroidvania style game.
That's right.
Dude,
okay.
It looks so good.
I remember seeing it somewhere, but the name is what
Cloud Built. Super Cloud Built for has PS4? Been getting really good reviews.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently the story is actually really good.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And they were saying that the way that they do the mechanics for wall running is actually different from most games. There's like you have to build basically momentum, and so like if you start running on a wall and you have your booster going, but then your booster dies, as you lose momentum, you start slowing down and actually declining down the wall. But then if you pick your boost back up, you can start climbing again. And it's like you gotta find a flow to be able to jump around through all that stuff.
That's not a Vita title, is it? No, that'd be really cool if it was.
But it does have a cool art style too.
We have Thesis or Theseus, PSVR digital title out Friday. No, out Thursday. We have Tiny Tracks, a PSVR title. We have Unbox Newbie's Adventure, PS4 digital. And the last on the list is Vostok Incorporated, a PS4 digital title out Thursday. So,
Vostok.
All
right, cool. As a quick aside, because this is something we haven't really talked to, and it's not necessarily directly gaming related, but it's related to me gaming, at least, or at least very, very strong memories of my gaming.
I already know what it is. I know. Unfortunately.
We've talked about the band specifically enough on this show, actually, to end up, and I think I maybe even mentioned this.
A commenter even had a conversation with us.
Yeah, but sadly, Chester Bennington, the singer for Linkin Park, committed suicide. Obviously, I mean, most of you probably know by now if you have an inkling of care. But I remember that it was one of those things that kind of hit me weirdly hard. And you know me, I'm not normally one to get into any kind of over like the head because of celebrity deaths. It's just not the way I am. But there's so much. I mean, definitely when it comes to gaming, which is my all-time favorite hobby, it's just. Every time I ever listen to Linkin Park, I just have like such vivid memories of playing PS1, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, and just listening to Hybrid Theory over and over and over.
Yeah, and
that's just the thing is that people from our age group, I guarantee you that's a shared memory. Maybe not even necessarily Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, but playing these PS1 games that are kind of that you can just listen to whatever with, and so I mean it's definitely sad, and I think my heart goes out to the band,
me and
his family, and all the people that are more directly affected than the fans. I mean, yeah, the fans are affected, but this is a moment that's a little more trying for those people. So
yeah, and me and Seth. Yeah, both of the Seths. We used to line up stuff we were doing in video games with Linkin Park, either off Hybrid Theory or Meteora. So like in like Hit the Floor when the screen was about to drop, we try to like line up like Dragon Ball Z fighting to make it match. Kind of like the style of the music. Yeah. Speaking of gaming as your favorite hobby, we have a reader mail question. Have you ever lost interest in video gaming, and what game brought you back into it?
You good sir are hopping ahead. That's supposed to come after news, but go ahead.
I never knew we had a structure to reader mail.
Yeah, it's all right.
Let me grab the tweet real quick so I can, of course, give credit to that.
I got it. It's from @Matt, not Maddie.
Okay, cool deal. If you guys ever have any questions, we typically try to do a very quick questionnaire, or even just a general. If you have a question, let us know on Twitter. So be sure to follow us there for that. But do you have any of those games? Or did you ever have an experience?
And I'm gonna make sure that I'm reading this question right. And because I meant to ask him even, but I was just busy at the moment when he asked this. So the way I'm taking this question is, have you ever lost interest in gaming and had to drive yourself back in? And he's saying, if so, what game did it for you? My assumption is he's saying what game let you come back into the fold of gaming, right?
Right, like what game sucked you back in?
Because I guess the flip side is it could be that he's trying to say what game made you lose interest in gaming. But I'm going to go with it being the one that pulled you back in.
Yeah.
So I've been like really racking my brain for this, and I do have like small moments of where I just kind of end up getting bored of everything I have to play.
Well, see, and I have an answer to this, but it's very weird. It's not the kind of structured answer you would want, or he would maybe want to hear.
Well, go ahead. Let's see what it is.
Well, see, for me, it's console versus handheld. Every now and then I'll lose interest in playing console.
But your handheld will really pull your attention?
Yeah.
That has definitely happened to me. Back whenever I got like 3 platinums in a row on Vita specifically.
What was it? Severed, and then Adventure Time.
It was like 5 actually, because I got Minecraft on Vita Platinums. I got Severed on Vita Platinums, Guacamelee Platinum, Hitman Platinum, and there was one more. Oh, Adventure Time, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So it was like 5 platinums in a row, and I just didn't play any console during that time.
I'm in that kind of mode right now, and basically, I don't want to sit in my. I have a game room, and I don't like sitting in there to play video games and try to consume media at the same time. I have the computer next to me, so I listen to YouTube and stuff. But like when I want to watch Netflix or something, I find it so much more convenient to have my Switch or my Vita in my hand. That's where it is for me, is that I'll fall out of console gaming for a while, where I'll still play. Like now, I'll still play the Destiny beta. I put like 4 or 5 hours into that game, and then that's really all I put in for the entire week. But I put a lot more into Symphony of the Night on my Vita and Breath of the Wild on my Switch. because it's more relaxing for me to lay out on a couch.
Well,
and play.
sometimes it's even that the way that a lot of handheld games go, they're not trying to be these full-fledged console games.
Right,
Like the
and
Vita
that
kind
does
of
make
was at
sense.
first. But it's like Severed and Guacamelee. It's like, yeah, there's story and there's stuff going on, but for the most part, you get to just play them.
Yeah, pick and play.
Whereas, console gaming has really went and I love it, but it has went the very narrative-heavy route, and then sometimes you just get to play a game like, yeah, I kind of just don't feel this right now, so I'm going to go play something that's just very mechanically driven.
Right.
And I do like that. But I mean, I've had moments, and I'm trying to remember what game it was that pulled me back in. And it's not been too terribly long ago. It was like maybe a month ago. I was just kind of like on everything because I'd beaten all the stuff I was most excited for this year.
Right.
And everything I was putting in, like I'd put the surge in. I didn't really care to play it.
That's how I felt about that game.
And you know what I really think it was? If I'm not mistaken, I think Crash might have been the game that pulled me back into it because it wasn't a long period. So, I mean,
right.
But yeah, I lost interest in a little bit. And then Crash kind of pulled me back in, and that's a game that the nostalgia helped pull me back in, and also just the game is so mechanically driven.
Yeah, and see,
that's fun. It's like, but then pulling back into Kingdom Hearts, it's like I'm straddling because I love Kingdom Hearts mechanically, but I also love it story wise. So it's like I'm getting the best of both worlds.
Right, and see, I think the only time that I have that would adequately answer that question in a different fashion is still kind of the handheld route, where I wasn't a huge fan of handhelds for a long time. I've had almost every handheld, but up until like in between the DS and like the 3DS, I didn't get a 3DS at launch. It took me about a year into its cycle, but I remember that Pokemon X and Y was coming out, and I remember hearing all the stuff about that 4 years ago.
And that pulled you back in, yeah.
I went and got a DSi and then Pokemon Black and White 2. And
just
those were
just
great
to kind of
games.
prep for Pokemon.
Yeah, and then I still think I had a broken 3DS at that point, the original black one that had the touchscreen wouldn't work for whatever reason. I think I dropped it at the beach. Yeah, in my bag, and it landed on because I didn't have it in a carrying case. That's why I carry every portable in my carrying cases now because I just threw it in my bag and I'm pretty sure I broke it. But yeah, that got me back into handheld gaming full on. If you remember back when I had my DS, I had the huge collection of 3DS games. I had like 12 or 15 physical games.
Yeah.
So that would be probably a more adequate answer.
Well, I want to hop into news real quick, but thank you for the question, Matt, not Maddie. Very supportive man.
Yes, sir.
We had a good How I Met Your Mother Twitter-based conversation. It was really good. I
saw the. I don't think it was with him, but I saw the Borat one. Was that with him?
I think so.
Okay. I know I saw that briefly.
I definitely had a Borat conversation with someone.
I checked it at work. I knew RJ Loki threw a Deadpool gif in there. I loved it. I love me some Deadpool.
I'm telling you, I've been having so much fun with did you see when I asked the question about getting
it was Morpheus? Yeah.
It was, I could choose. I was going through it and I knew I wanted it to be for the Matrix. And my first thought was when Neo does a little handshake, the hand motion, and it goes like that.
Yeah.
And then I saw Morpheus and I was like, I think I'm going to go with Morpheus instead.
More character.
So, but I'm going to go ahead and hop into the news real quick. It's like he said, it's not actually terribly long. So then we can go ahead and hop into the main topic because I know, Saul, you got some stuff you got to get done. So the first thing up on the list, and I've had a really ridiculous week, like I said, with personal stuff and work going on. So there may be some new stuff I missed. Just going to go ahead and throw that out there. But I tried being as diligent as I could and catching up as much as I could before we recorded because I had a little more time today. But the first thing on the list is that the remaster of beloved PSP rhythm game Patapon finally has a solid release date for North America. You can pick it up for $14.99 starting on August 1st. Or if you pre-order it now, you can get 20% off, putting the game at only $11.99. So if you're interested in that game at all,
I like the honestly, this may be something looked down upon, but I like the saving portion of pre-ordering this.
Oh no, I do
really
too,
cool.
and I do think that that's partially something that comes from if you pre-order a game on Amazon Prime, you save like 20%.
No, that's just buying a game on Amazon Prime.
Just in general?
Yeah, I think so. I've only did it once with Nier, and I got it the day of at like 8 p.m.
Oh well, who knows, man? Good idea though. Either way, I mean, it's going to make more people want to do digital.
Yeah, and,
and I think the other thing is just as a quick aside, I think it's interesting that it's specifically Patapon 1 and not a trilogy. But you saw the same thing happen with Loco Roco, right? They did just Loco Roco 1. Well, now they have confirmed that they're going to do Loco Roco 2, and I think that they're trying because these are games that haven't seen a lot of day in a while,
right?
And I think they're trying to see if these franchises still hold any kind of a market.
Patapon's definitely fun.
Oh yeah, and I love Loco Roco. Hannah loves that game.
Really?
That's one of the few games I've gotten Hannah to play, and I'm pretty sure she beat it.
Dang.
And that's saying something.
That is saying something.
Really like that. So, but that's also a very simplistic game. So good to see. I'm sure that we will probably end up seeing Patapon 2 if the sales are worth it, and possibly even Patapon 3. So, next thing up, PS Vita version of the Banner Saga has officially been canceled. to the detriment of all the people who are waiting for that, which I don't think anybody at this point
wasn't
really
that on the drop
waiting.
last week?
No.
Was it not?
No.
Okay, I must be getting something else confused.
I think it may have been the Banner Saga Season 2 or something, or not Season 2, but anyway, going on, the game had a troubled development cycle. The devs even had to bring in Sony, but even with Sony's help, they were unfortunately unable to get the game running very well on the handheld. In a blog post, the publisher stated that the game needs this quote, "The game needs a lot more time to get it to the conditions we expect for Vita and Banner Saga fans. To add to this, it does not include a lot of the other finishing touches and updates that the Stoic team has had since launched on the other platforms." I got weirdly confused on that. Essentially, it would take more time and funding to make this port a reality, and despite the best efforts from multiple studios, we have all agreed that this is the best course of action for right now. End quote.
Which is kind of sad because I
think it's weird if they say for right now. I don't think they're ever going to come back to this. There's no reason to.
And I didn't know. I never heard of this series. I don't think. And
no, the Banner Saga.
Yeah,
this
it
was
looks
announced
like a really
back
cool
in like
tactical.
It was announced back in like 2014 for both PS4 and Vita, and then the PS4 version came out like last January or February, so it's been over a year.
I just need more
kind of like an
tactical
Axiom
RPGs.
Verge thing. So, I guess it's starting to show the age of the Vita. To be like, it's sadly,
Yeah.
Because you remember that game that you were talking about that we should play? Oh man, I was saying it looks kind of like Zelda, but I can't remember what it was. But
It never came out. It never came out. Is that what you're about to say?
Oh no, this is the game we were talking about this a couple weeks back. You were telling me about, and I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a 4-player game that you were saying you wanted to buy into.
No, I didn't know that's on the Vita. Is it?
No, it's not. But
It'd be very cool.
People were asking about it, and they were saying that the Vita's not powerful enough to run it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't remember the name of that game, but the art style is really cool.
But yeah, and it kind of has that top-down RPG style in the open world. I can't remember the name of the game, but so yeah, I mean, it's definitely, we're starting to see less and less games actually release in the Vita, and I think we're even seeing less games kind of being announced for it, even indies, because indies are starting to get to a point where they're trying to run things that just aren't going to work on Vita. So here's the hoping that Sony ends up pulling up a Vita successor.
I mean, I saw that fake image of the Bloodborne thing, and that looked amazing.
I didn't really love the way that the handheld looked, but I still like the idea.
I think it was more square.
It was, and I don't like that.
Not saying that if it was more square. The handles look kind of rounded.
I want them around. I like the way the actual Vita feels. I actually am not a fan of the way that the Switch feels. And it's
I've gotten
square.
so used to the Switch that
but that's also because I don't like the offset analog sticks.
I've gotten used to that too. I was just thinking that to myself the other day.
Well, it just makes holding the console feel weird. And when I play the Switch, I only play in handheld mode.
Yeah, that's pretty much me too.
So next up, Sony has announced that there is an upcoming firmware update, and they are currently taking applications for the beta. If you'd like to test out firmware 5.00, head over to PlayStation.com and sign up. I've already done that. I was part of the beta for. I was gonna say,
I'm always weirdly excited for these just to see the cool features we may get. Like, I like the whole new quick menu system now.
There's a lot of talk saying that this might be and I don't know. I've always felt like they'd save this for some kind of a conference, and maybe they will. Maybe it lines up with release for Gamescom or something. Who knows? But there's rumor that this is going to be name change time.
I swear to
God,
if they use a conference to announce that, I'd be so mad. That is not worth a conference.
Realistically, it is, because it goes to show that finally Sony has a handle on their outdated infrastructure for their online stuff.
Right, but let's save the.
But I mean, either way, I wait with bated breath for that, because I don't really see it ever happening. But luckily, I don't care, because I'm fine with my name.
Yeah, I use my name pretty much universally too.
So next thing up, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy has received the Stormy Ascent DLC. This week, the DLC features an unused level from the original development of Crash Bandicoot for the PS1. The level was not included in the original release as it was considered too challenging, but can now be played as part of the Insane Trilogy. The DLC is free until August 21st, after which it will cost $2.99, which is not terrible, but get it while it's free if you have the game. Speaking of which, the game still continues to blow up sales charts.
Yeah, it does.
Like hardcore. And I want to go over that
amazing.
before we hop into the final topic. I do have the MPD stuff from June.
Okay, cool deal.
So next up is a new trailer for Marvel vs. Capcom has revealed 4 new playable characters for the game. So adding to the Capcom side of the roster, they are adding Dead Rising's Frank West, Final Fight's Hager, and Resident Evil 3's Nemesis. And I actually, dude, I'm kind of feeling the way Nemesis is looking and controlling. I don't know if you saw it at all.
Yeah, I did. Frank West was also in Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate 3.
Really?
Yeah, this new game looks like trash. I love Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
There's also a promise that they're going to fix Chun-Li's face.
They need to fix everybody's face. Did you see Dante? It looks like he's a mixture of new and old Dante.
But hold on, to be fair, as bad as he looked, Chun-Li looked worse than anybody.
Yeah, she did.
It didn't even
that whole
look
entire
like
game
her.
just needs to be a different art style.
Which we'll see.
Just go back to Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
The game still got time, so on the Marvel side of things, though, they also unveiled that Spider-Man will be part of the roster, and Spider-Man looked pretty cool. So it is a little weird they're not trying to go with a. I mean, I guess it's fine. They're going with a more comic booky version of him. I'm surprised they're not trying to pull in a little bit of the Homecoming style, but that might have taken them getting rights from Sony or something. Which I'm pretty sure Sony would have given them, but who the hell knows? So the next thing up on my list is that Uncharted: The Lost Legacy has gone gold. So I just wanted to put that on here and give a quick congratulations to the team over at Naughty Dog. In case you don't know, the game is set to release on August 22nd in North America and a day later in PAL regions. So yeah, pick that up. If you like Uncharted, don't listen to me otherwise. Diablo 3 Season 11 is now live, bringing with it the typical season reward exclusive items. And the last thing on my list is that Doom has been updated to update 6.66, which is pretty funny.
It is. It brings a lot of stuff.
It brings a good chunk of progression overhauls and stuff like that. But the main thing it does is it retires the season pass.
It gives you all that stuff for free too, doesn't it?
All of the multiplayer DLC is free.
Yeah, I may have to pick that game up again just to play through the story.
It's on sale right now, so it won't be on sale by the time this goes on. It's $15, and that's 15. I mean, you got to think about for all that crap, that's a pretty good deal. So before we get into the final topic, we'll do a quick scan through of the June 2017 MPD numbers. So for the overall software, this is across all platforms. The number one game for June was Tekken 7. Not that surprising.
Yeah, because
a little more surprising, Injustice 2 at number 2.
Apparently, that game has a really good story.
Dude, apparently, Injustice 2 has been killing it. It came out in May.
It's still up there. It was in top of June, wasn't it? In top 3, right?
Well, I mean, it's top 2. It's number 2 in June right now. This is
yeah.
June's number 2.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Injustice
I've already read
2
that.
is number 2, which just goes to show that fighting games have still got a lot of life left in them. And I do think that we're seeing fighting games do a little bit of different stuff and making the stories a little bit better. Grand Theft Auto 4 is 3, and then I'm just going to do the top 5 and then roll through the rest. But number 4, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which is only on market for 2 days.
Yeah, that's
and pull itself
insane.
into number 4, and that's an exclusive, so that's actually pretty interesting. And the 5th game is also interesting. It's ARMS, and that's an exclusive, coming in at number 5 for the month.
I've heard a lot of good things about that game. I may pick it up, and I'm not a huge fighting game person.
Yeah, who knows? The rounding off the list though is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, Overwatch, and actually, just as a quick aside, ARMS, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart, and Overwatch do not include digital sales. So NBA 2K17 after Overwatch, Horizon Zero Dawn, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, MLB 17 The Show, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Battlefield 1, Minecraft, The Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind also does not include digital sales for some weird reason.
Interesting.
FIFA 17 and Forza Horizon 3.
You would think Morrowind would be like 80% digital sales.
Exactly. So it's actually more impressive.
So it might be part of that. Yeah, it might be part of that good old bundle they got going on, which is
who knows?
A good price.
For PS4 software particularly, just because I thought this was pretty interesting, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy was number 1. With 2 days of sale. Tekken 7's next, Injustice 2's next, Grand Theft Auto 5 is next, Horizon Zero Dawn, MLB 17 The Show, Overwatch, NBA 2K17, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, and Battlefield 1 to finish off the list. As the final note of the MPD stuff, the PS4 was the best-selling hardware for the month, mostly fueled by the release of the discounted gold 1TB Slim that they released during the Day of Play sale.
I think it's atrocious.
But man, apparently it sold really well.
I think it's tacky.
I'm not a huge fan of gold either, but you know. So yeah, PS4 is still killing it with Switch following pretty close behind. But what they said that they noted was interesting is that the Switch is not taking any market share from Microsoft or Sony, and is instead expanding the market,
which is great.
So that's really interesting to see.
It's almost not a competitor at this point, or in this current time, it's more of a family.
Well, it almost becomes like it's a companion system.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And not in the sense of that it plays well with it, but it's like, okay, if you have this and you have this, and you've got everything you need.
Right.
For a lot of people.
Which I think
they're either going to choose the Xbox and the Switch or the PlayStation and the Switch.
Right, yeah, and I think that's always been a solid choice for somebody to make, is have the Nintendo and then have the other console, whether it's Microsoft or Sony.
Yeah. All right, so main topic of the show. You ready for this?
I am.
Okay, so what we kind of talked about in the little opening statement is that, of course, as we know, and it's on there now, but I've been thinking about it since they even announced it earlier this year. Sony has brought PS4 games to the PC in the form of PlayStation now. So what I've been thinking about a lot in my head is, what are the pros and cons of this, and is it a good idea or a bad idea? And what's weird is that the more I think about it, I see some of it as a strength and some of it as a weakness. But Saul, just because I know I mentioned it to you in text the other day, but I said specifically I didn't want to see anything of what you were talking about. What, in your opinion, how do you feel about it?
I think it's pretty good. I think that the games that we've gotten to play that are exclusives, they're finally getting to be played by other people who don't have, PlayStations.
Well, as a quick, just for people who don't know, the games that are currently available on PS4, at least in North America, the exclusives are very limited. I think.
Right. Yeah.
What was I think Killzone Shadowfall is one of the only ones.
God of War 3 Remasters one, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's more of a PS3 game, because you can already play God of War 3 on PS3 now.
I didn't even know that.
As a PS3 title.
To be honest,
all of the God of War games are available on PS.
I think PS Now is a big old waste of money, to be honest.
I mean, and that's actually so. I mean, go ahead and kind of finish out your initial impressions, and we can dig.
But I think it's good. I think it's to be fair, if you have a gaming PC and you're all about PC master race, and you don't really care about consoles, then you weren't going to buy a console anyway. So at least now you get to enjoy the games.
If you want, yeah.
If you want, and Sony still
even though it's not the way they want to do it, because they can't go in and change any of the settings.
Well, and then I still think that any kind of streaming services, it's not currently, it wants to be the future, but it can't be with data caps.
It can't be with a lot of reasons. Input lag, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, especially like, if I had, even if my internet dipped for 1 second in Dark Souls or Demon Souls, that could mean a death.
Well, easily. And I mean, like, and it was interesting. I was playing Crash Bandicoot the other day. I had to put Kyrie to bed. And I was just like, her room's right across from here. So I was like, screw it. I'm just going to put Crash Bandicoot on my Fat V that happened to be in here. So I was like, I'm going to see if it'll work. And I did it, and I started playing it on there. And it was mostly enjoyable, but I wasn't using it for anything other than collecting all the boxes and levels, because I don't have to have too much crazy reflex times.
Yeah, precision.
But see, I wouldn't have done like a speed run on the Vita.
Well, do you have your Vita? Do you have the setting for it to be on your home network with your PS4?
Mm-hmm, where it streams directly. Actually, mine's the one where it streams directly from the PS4. That's the least lag way to do it. Otherwise, it's part of your
home network.
Yeah, and so that's what I was doing, and I was like, it was fine, and I was able to play it, and it was fun, and I actually liked it. And I was like, man, this game would have been killer on the Vita, but in terms of streaming it through remote play, I was like, the problem with this is that if I was trying to do any of the stuff that I really need to do to get the final bits of the platinum, which is all the speed runs, right. I was like, I couldn't trust this. I was like, the delay affects it too much.
Yeah.
And it's not even a big delay, but it's enough because of that game. Definitely when you're moving quickly, you need that kind of precise movement. So
I tried playing Grand Theft Auto 5 on Vita remote play. That did not work out at all.
Well, the game looked beautiful on the Fat Vita's OLED screen.
Persona
looked really good.
Yeah, Persona looked really good on mine.
But going off of that, though, so yeah, I'm with you. Streaming is definitely not some kind of thing, but this isn't this is less of a discussion about what PS Now is as an advantage, and more about, let's just say in general. I mean, yeah, the discussion has to be about PS Now because that's the vehicle they're using to get the PS4 games over.
Right.
But what I kind of wanted to stop and think about is
the other players, not so much the model, but the people using it.
And it's not even it's going to, I mean, the people who use PS Now on PC or even on PS3, I think they're actually moving it to where it's only PS4 and PS3 now.
Yeah,
PS4 and PC.
Yeah, I was going to say, they already dropped out Vita.
Yeah.
Earlier this month or last month.
Yeah, and then most TVs are not going to have that feature anymore, which is just interesting because it seems like they're really just trying to double down on PC.
Yeah.
But so where I kind of stand on it is that yes, for the people who don't have a PlayStation for some reason, because here's the thing: to do streaming, you don't even have to have a good computer. You just have to have steady internet.
Yeah, and then it does help to have a computer though of good specs. Like it doesn't have to be a gaming PC, but it needs to have.
Really, you just have to have a computer that's not gonna lag,
overheat, and
do all weird stuff, or not lag, but just be slow because of RAM speeds or whatever. But I mean, realistically, you open the program, you start streaming, and then the streaming is what handles all the bruteness of it. So if you've got a solid connection, you can play the game,
right? And no data caps, because by the time you finish a 30-hour game, you've probably wasted a terabyte of data.
Who the hell knows? I really don't. I
almost hit my data cap on Steam sales alone this time. On Steam sales alone.
I didn't even mess with Steam sales because there's.
And I have the streaming plan. I have the highest tier internet plan our cable provider has. That's like what, 700 megabyte or gigabytes?
I thought it was 750. I think
something like that, and I almost hit it. Well, 580.
So where my problem kind of lies with it is that and you've seen it, I'm sure, if you go to really any community that talks about Xbox and PS4, and then like one of the things that PlayStation's always had as a strength over Xbox in terms of what the community likes to spout is that, and don't get me wrong, I thought it was a terrible decision too, is that of course Xbox decided that they were going to start releasing all of their Microsoft games
on
PC as well. So there's no true exclusives anymore for the console moving past a certain point. So, there's been at least probably a year to a year and a half now of all of their games coming out on PC and Xbox if it's Microsoft published. So while that's good for the overall market, it's actually, in terms of definitely, in my opinion it is, but also to the community, it's in detriment to Xbox as a platform of its own. Like, well, I guess as a platform it works. It starts to take away from the hardware side of Xbox, because now that means Xbox is a platform to give you the games, and they're still going to make the money as you buy them and whatnot on PC, but it starts to give less relevance to the Xbox One as a console.
Right, and I don't know if that's a future-proofing thing where they're going to eventually phase out Xbox.
And exactly, that's why I think it's a bad idea for right now, because streaming is not that great of an option. Now, it'd be a little bit better it'd be a little bit better and worse in its own right if Sony just took a certain PS4 game and they're like, we're just going to go ahead and release Killzone Shadowfall on PS4. On PC.
What I think would be really cool would be that if they're going to try to, and like I said, I don't think PS Now is going to be successful. I think in 2 years it's going to not be a thing. But what they could do, and what I think would be really cool, is that if you pay $9.99, you get a selection of games. What if those games changed monthly basis? Once they finally get enough of these games, it gives people variety and it gives people incentive.
Then what happens? Because if you're in the middle of a game at the end of the month,
when it's going to end, it's kind of like, if you have PS Plus, it's expiring soon. If you're in the middle of the Life is Strange that you just had, that you're going to have to renew your PS Plus or you can't play it. So it's kind of like,
Well, no, but you're saying they changed the games out. But do you mean like PS Plus where you add them to your library? Or like where you could just play them for that month and
like
then when they're gone, you can't
your
play
library.
Them anymore. Okay.
And then once you finish, it can
I don't think it'll happen like that. It's not a good enough value.
Well, see, I don't think PS Now is a good value.
Oh, I don't either. But for the people who want to use it, maybe it is.
Yeah, because so Horizon was to come out, and like let's say you have a PC, and like what the whole like gaming PC mentality I have in my mind isn't because of the specs you need. It's because of the people who are going to use it have that mindset already, that their PC is better than a PS4.
Yeah.
So it's going to give those people opportunities to play. Now, if Sony's going to lose money on it, that's where they should.
Well, and see, they wouldn't lose money from a software standpoint, but they would have one less reason for someone to go buy a PlayStation 4.
And I think that I don't think they care about that at this point. I think that they know that Sony has made it this generation.
Well, and I know, but the moment you start letting, and like, see, Killzone Shadowfall is not a good example because it's an older exclusive,
the launch title, almost.
And it's not going to keep somebody from buying a PlayStation 4 right now because games like Horizon and all these newer exclusives that have come out, Gravity Rush 2, The Last Guardian, you're not going to play these on PS Now probably anytime soon. And I think that's where Sony's doing a little bit of both. They're letting themselves get a foothold into PC by releasing a couple exclusives and letting people play games they previously weren't.
And then they hope they kind of will come over.
And as time goes on long enough, well, I think it's also, like you said, it's future proofing. It's for the day that consoles become irrelevant. They're trying to get a foothold in this PC market.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say the reverse, where they're trying to get people to play these games and be like, I'm going to buy a PS4 for these games.
Well, they might, but I don't think that's really more of their goal.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I think it's just to get people to playing some PlayStation games, and then as say another year passes, the order becomes available on streaming.
Right, or they could just blow it out of the water.
It's removing. Because the games are not like, so right now, this is where the issue would be. If Sony said, hey, PS Now is going to get Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn is still selling PS4s for them right now. So if they just said today,
well, I was going to say Crash,
you can play. Well, yeah, but still. Okay, Crash, fine example.
They can blow it out of the water by doing that, and then that may incentivize.
Well, what do you mean by blowing out of the water?
Like, I guarantee you that if they put Crash on PS Now, then their PS Now subscriptions on PC would go up just for people who want to play Crash that don't have a PS4.
Well, yeah, and it'll help PS Now temporarily, but it's not going to help it because it's still streaming. And I think that those are issues. But again, that's trying to change the argument into what PS Now is. Right. But I still think that as a rule of thumb, it's smart for Sony to try and get themselves in. They're trying to future-proof themselves, just like we're seeing GameStop do with Game Trust, and we're seeing
What is that?
Game Trust is their publishing. Excuse me, a publishing branch.
That's right. That's who made that C game and stuff.
Those are the people that did Insomniac's. And I can't remember what it is actually. That's the name. But yeah, the submarine game.
Yeah.
They did Deformers, which is made by the people who made The Order, which is Ready at Dawn.
Got that for you.
Studio. So yeah, it's Games Trust is their little thing going off. Games Trust also made No More Heroes or something. No More Heroes. I'm sorry.
That's Nintendo.
It's a Switch game that came out. It's on PS4 and stuff now, but it's like a little roguelike side scroller with turn-based bat. I can't remember what it's called. Something Heroes.
I don't know, but you're describing a game I really want. Turn-based roguelike Switch. I don't know.
Well, you can go check it out. It's
from their publisher.
Yeah, it's from Games Trust. But regardless, I get future proofing, and they're trying to make sure that they have some kind of a seeds planted in some of these markets, and even if it's slow, and with it not being to the detriment of the PS4,
has been Heroes.
There you go. So with all that being said, I think it's smart, but I think the more PS4 games they start to put on, they're starting to lessen the reason that you would want to play on PS4.
Well, see,
so it becomes a balance of trying to make sure that they don't give too much out to PS Now, and that they do it with enough time between the release of the game and then where the PS4 is at. Because if you do it so we're 4 years in the PS4's life cycle, so Killzone Shadowfall's on there. That's a 4-year-old title. If they keep that going forward, then maybe, because the Order becomes 4 years old in 2019.
Yeah.
So when 2019 hits, if they throw the Order on there, which, I mean, to be fair, the Order's not a perfect example because that's not selling consoles for them. But so Horizon Zero Dawn just came out this year.
Yeah, so 3 years from now.
Okay, so 3 years from, or really 4 years. But anyway, somewhere like 2020, 2021, if you put Horizon on there, who's it really hurting? Because it's not keeping someone from buying a PlayStation 4 at that point. And actually, by then, we're probably going to have a PS5. But still.
Well, see, and that's what I was going to say is I can think of a double-sided argument kind of where the closer we get to PS5, the more they're putting these exclusive on there because you're not going to be buying the console this late in its life cycle. But
I don't know though, because that's what I'm saying. It still keeps people wanting to buy PS4, whereas people who've maybe waited for forever and just want to be able to play that backlog.
That's what my butt was. My
yeah.
butt is that you have such a huge backlog like I did with PS3. There were so many games.
And what that does is that once you come out with the PS5, typically Sony comes out with their new console. PS4 happens. PS3 continues to sell pretty well. When PS3 came out, PS2 continued to sell pretty well.
Right. And so I can see big titles like Horizon and Crash and other games like maybe even Uncharted going into PS Now maybe in a year, just because I think that once they get closer, maybe after they reveal the PS5, because once they start to reveal the PS5 and start working on that, Sony won't really care about the PS4 sales anymore.
They're going to care about PS4 sales because
not as much as they do now, though.
Well, you think, but actually, that's an important part of their business because the components get so cheap, but they can just drop the price to a point where it's acceptable enough in the market, but components continue to drop in price, and that just means that their profit margins on that continue to go up and up, and that means that it's actually an important part of their core business to be able to make that kind of money on those consoles.
Right, but it's like an autopilot thing.
That's making money on the console side, which is more important because it's direct profit, whereas in the games it becomes okay, now we're going to do this game, we make money because they're pushing the game through and we're selling them the rights to put it on here basically, so they make so much money per game sale.
Yeah, with something like that though, that's almost an autopilot style move though, because that's something you lower the price and you don't have to pay attention to it because you know how well it's already going to sell.
But if that's what I'm saying, but if you take away the incentive for people to still buy PS4s because they start to be able to play all the games on PC they want, and then what that means is it'll be a hard stop at the end of the sales of the life cycle of PS4. It won't continue on into the life cycle of PS5 like you've seen with every console before.
Well, and see, my whole thing is that mainly it's not even an argument, but my suggestion for PC PS Now users are only those that aren't going to buy PS4.
Well, but they're for sure not going to buy it if they start seeing the games coming out on it. Whereas, but they may have been nudged otherwise. This may be people who don't have consoles at all and go, you tell me I can spend $10 a month and just see what this console's like because maybe I never worried about the PS4, but I have a PC that I can stream with.
Yeah, but I don't foresee a whole lot of people who have the mentality if they're going to build their PC and have like, and they may already have the consoles, but there are people with those harsh mentalities of that. I don't want to play these PS4s. Like I don't need a PS4.
No, and I get what you're
it's
saying, but then the PC Master Race people, it's not as, these are people that have already made their mind up that for the most part they're probably not going to play them anyway.
Well, yeah,
and I start to wonder what games like is Bloodborne ever going to be on there because there's people that are mad.
You mean PS Now or PC?
PS Now.
Oh, okay.
There are people who are angry that
It's
Bloodborne
doubtful.
never came to PC.
Right, and I mean honestly, if you threw Bloodborne on there, you'd see sales go through the roof because the people who do play PC that would play PS Now, they pay $10 just to play Bloodborne and then cancel their subs.
Yeah, that's still not lasting business.
Right,
and that becomes and that's why I don't know if Sony will go that route. But I do think it's an interesting conversation and a little bit of an answer. It's one that doesn't have a real answer because what it kind of takes is being able to guess how much easier PCs are going to come. Because I do think that there's a thing in the mind of being able to get PCs to an easier point to where a PC is just more useful than a console. Right. Overall,
and I think
so. If they can make PCs easy enough to do this, to iterate and change parts out on, and it's already easy, but it's daunting for people.
Right, and well, see, something else we missed out on. I missed out on the second to last episode about what we want on PS5. My main thing, besides the app working, still kind of, and then of course real 4K, and then real 60 frames on games that aren't 4K. Something modular.
And I don't know. I've been so back and forth on that because
I mean, imagine if you could buy a PS4 and then you're like, it has something equivalent to like a GTX 1060, and you're like, you know what? I can go buy the PS4 version or maybe like a laptop version of a 1070 or a 1070 Micro and put it in your PS4. You may pay $400 to do so, but you paid $400 for the system already. This can kind of move into, and it can kind of get people who would spend $800 for the perfect 4K experience or 1440p experience.
And again, the problem with that comes down to is that it goes completely against what consoles are about. And that's why.
Well, it wouldn't. It just provides to people who want the options.
No, you have to understand though the reason consoles exceed in the way that they do, and they really excel as life continues to go on. You wouldn't have seen something like The Last of Us if it wasn't one architecture specifically that they've worked on for 8 years or 7 years.
Talking about the cell architecture,
yeah,
but it was developed on computer.
But hold on. What, The Last of Us?
Yeah.
I mean, most games are developed on computer.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
But actually, I mean, I don't even know. Actually, I don't know if The Last of Us was developed on computer.
No, it had to have been. That game was way too beautiful. That used every resource of PS3.
But it doesn't. But it's what I'm saying. But it doesn't matter if it goes. So what it was is that they had the PS3 architecture, and they were able to look at the same architecture that never changed in 7 years, and that's why they're able to find these shortcuts. And it's because you have one architecture, and that's why PC games and the PS4 can hit really impressive graphics for the price compared to what a PC at that price will do.
Yeah, it'd be
because
hard
of the fact that they can sit there and they can optimize for one. Here it is, cut and dry. If it's a PS4, they all have this. Besides the PS4 Pro now, but
yeah. I think you're talking about PS4 Pro.
And you start muddying it up at that point, though. If you let somebody have a console, and I love how this has completely changed topics, but if you have a console,
we're wild on this show.
Yeah, if you have one console and you let them take this piece out.
Right.
And then put another one in, you no longer know that console for sure has this. So your optimizations you made for that console may not work with this new one because the optimizations are going to be different. And that's going to go against the way that consoles have always worked and the reason they've been able to last as long as they have, because you get to continuously iterate on one architecture.
Right.
You know exactly what you're building for, and you learn the secrets and you learn how to make things. Because like The Last of Us, if you talk about it all the time, I mean, no one, absolutely no one, in 2007 when the PS3 came out would have looked at The Last of Us and been like, that'll be possible.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't have.
And it's one of those things of like where you go back and look at like Final Fantasy X graphics and you're like, my mind remembered this as being real. And it's
of course, but I'm saying that for the console that they are on, the games look amazing.
Right.
And that's because of the way that they get to constantly build for one. And that's why exclusives tend to look better than anything, because these exclusives...
It's so much time of development into this one...
Into one platform.
Yeah.
There is no split. You are optimizing 100% for one SKU.
Now, I can see, because basically a modular console becomes
a PC.
A PC, yeah.
And all you're doing is putting a name on it.
Maybe that would be something Xbox would do.
Maybe that's something you do eventually, and I think Xbox has loosely talked about it.
It would be super
then
cool.
All that becomes is basically like a Steam box, not necessarily, but a Steam box that...
Right.
And I mean, maybe it's a PC, but it's got Sony, and Sony's the storefront you go through, and if you just prefer Sony's storefront and online thing, then you do it through them, and it maybe is just a PC at that point, but I don't like that idea.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, being able to have control of your console It sounds weird, but I think that developing the console and knowing what you want the console to be for what you want your exclusives to be lets you build a console that's really interesting. Because for as big as a failure as the Wii U was developed specifically to work extremely well with the way they wanted their first parties to roll out. Because every first party game on the Wii U looked beautiful, even though it was a very weak console.
Yeah,
because it had such high graphical things, but its CPU was terrible. So Mario looked beautiful,
but it
great
ran
3D graphics.
It ran badly.
I don't know if it ran badly, but you wouldn't have been able to do.
I'm talking about Galaxy.
You wouldn't have been able to. Well, I'm talking about the Wii U. Sorry.
It is there's a Super Mario Galaxy on Wii U, isn't there?
No, Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are on Wii only.
Oh, well, that might be why it ran so badly then.
I don't know. Yeah, probably. But regardless of that, but what I mean is that being able to have that through line between the people that are making your games and the other people, as I said, it gives you that experience. But
right.
So I mean that still, I guess, somewhat ties back to what I'm talking about with me not wanting Sony's, not wanting, but I'm a little apprehensive about them putting their games on PC because I don't want to see them go towards this PC route if they don't have to. But at the same time, I want Sony to thrive. They're a great company, and while they all make mistakes, every one of the companies do.
Yeah,
I still want to see Sony continue to thrive, even past the point where consoles have a relevance. But I don't think that ever happens because like I'm saying, the plug and play nature and the here it is, what you see is what you get nature of a console is actually the selling point. It's always been the selling point.
And see, that may be a good topic for another time, but I think with these consoles now that they're coming out that are hitting, upscaled 1440p, 4K interloping, I think, and there's a lot of people who are saying, well, hey, look at this PC right here. A lot of people I've noticed have gotten into, because I'm subscribed to both the PCMR subreddit and the PC gaming subreddit, and there's a lot of new people I've seen lately. And I know it's not tied into consoles directly because of this, but I do see that it's way more expansive than I ever thought it could be. So I'm curious as to if more and more people go to these PCs, which it will never be the majority. Never. That if maybe one year Sony or Microsoft could put out a modular version of something they own without messing that kind of stuff up. I can see Microsoft doing it because their stuff runs on basically Windows 8 anyways, is what the Xbox One reminded me of.
Well, actually, I mean, they changed the Xbox One thing over to kind of Windows 10 unified, but all the games that are made for, I don't know if you know this, but all the games that are made for both consoles actually use a unified development thing. So it would make more sense for them to do it, but at the same time, they're all PC architecture. It's just that Gears of War 4 and what's the Remedy based game that I liked a lot, and I can't think of Quantum Break.
You said Remedy based.
Remedy is the people who made it. Sorry.
That's I didn't know that.
Remedy is the developer. They made Max Payne, stuff like that.
Anyway,
that is made on a unified development platform,
right?
So that
basically its own OS.
Now, and it gets weird because you can play the games on PC, but you get some customization options, but not near as much as a normal PC game because it still has to run within this flow of how it works on both games.
Right, which is similar to PS Now, where you don't get any because it's essentially you're porting over the exact same game.
But you do get some on PC for the Xbox games. But yeah, man,
no, I'm talking about PS Now though. Yeah, like you still get 900p resolution or 1080p. You still get 60. You still get 30, despite what you have.
Yeah.
And what you could customize. And I think that would be something that I know Sony couldn't do because it's a streaming service because you can't alter the graphics of a streamed game.
Well, yeah, because you're streaming from a base PS4.
Right, yeah, you're streaming. You're streaming this base content and you can't upgrade it. But I think it would be cool that maybe if one day that they started releasing these big titles on PS Now and we did see PS gamers or PC gamers getting more and more into PC or PS4.
The only thing that might work is if the PC player... And this is the final thing I'm going to say about it. But if the PC player happens to say that a year or two from now, Horizon does come over. Right. And Sony goes, hey, here it is. This is what it is. And then whenever they like Horizon so much that when the PS5 comes out and Horizon 2 or Horizon 3 or whatever is coming out, they go, oh, I can't wait to play that. I don't want to wait for it to come on computer. I'm going to go ahead and go buy a PlayStation 5.
They could, yeah, and a lot of this stuff is marketing, of course, and it's kind of planting seeds for further investment later down the road. But it is interesting to think about because I would like to see some data, and it'd be really hard to get without a poll of some kind.
Somebody has the data, first of all. Somebody has the data.
I'm sure that they'll see how many people who... during certain times that PS Now jumps up, do PS4 sales jump up at the same time? And is it correlated to each other?
Yeah. And that would be those are numbers that we won't have any kind of access to, but I guarantee
which is why I said a poll
to.
of some kind saying hey, for those that have tried PS Now, did you buy a PS4 afterwards? because it sucked you in.
Well, you don't have an early enough thing either right now because they've only had PS4 games rolling for a little while.
Yeah,
so that's probably something you want to see numbers on
mediocre.
when you've had time to let the numbers actually kind of be true and not just weird spikes. And you want to see a pattern. You know what I mean? So
and it's certainly interesting to think and talk about for sure.
I don't know, weird stuff. I'm just curious to see how much further it goes, but. I guess we're through with that topic because
I guess so. I do want to make a quick announcement while I'm thinking about it. So
you're not actually back from the dead?
I'm not actually back from the dead. I'm a ghost.
Okay. Oh man, I'm gonna start using some I'm gonna make you look like a ghost in posts.
Oh, that'd be great. Like
I don't actually know how to do that, and so
like Boomhauer from King of the Hill. Like
you're saved for now.
But next week's episode may be kind of weird, just a forewarning. I have a family reunion / vacation that is this coming weekend. So it's what weekend is that? The last weekend of July. Yeah. So I'll be gone Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday. So we may have to record on Thursday night, which means that there may not be a drop. And if there's not a drop, I always come up with kind of a topic thing I could add to the table that has to do with the game. But just a forewarning for you guys that watch for the drop. I know there's 2 of you at least that you may have to go to actually the PSN blog for it. I apologize.
All right. But what Saul doesn't know is that we're going to end up letting him come in and record, make him feel all special, and then I'm just going to have a guest come in and do a normal episode.
I would be so mad. You might have to kill me. I might have to come back and haunt you as a ghost.
All right. Well, aside from that, this has been episode 17. Sorry, thank you. I'm sick. I feel like I get a...
You sure you're not medicated?
I get an alibi. No, I'm just tired. Don't feel good. But... if you enjoyed this episode, please let us know in the comments. If you have any thoughts on what you think about PS4 games coming to PC, let us know in the comments. Or, hey, if you listen to us on audio services, tweet at us at TriangleSQRD or email us, trianglesquaredpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts, man. If you listen to us on podcast services, I would really appreciate if you gave us reviews. Let us know how we're doing and also just help get those numbers up so that more people will find the podcast. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you all have a good week.
Thank you guys.
Episode 17, right?
Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, 17, I think. Might be 16. Who knows? We don't even know. Thank you guys.